welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today here at the Forest Pavilion, and welcome also to the people in the live stream. Thanks for joining as well. We will have our session today on driving sustainable development through science-business collaboration. And my name is Carola Egger. I'm working for the International Union of Forest Research Organizations, CIFOR, and I'm a partnership manager for the science business platform Teaming Up for Forests. I'm managing that platform with a colleague of mine who will be joining us virtually. So for the second half, we will have her on the screen as well. And I'm excited also for her to share her perspectives on the science business partnership that we are building up and then we have been building up for the last couple of years. So every solution starts with a challenge. So I want to start with talking about what challenges are we facing in the forest-based sector at the moment. Well, our forests are under severe pressure, maybe more pressure than ever before. We are facing climate change, we have multiple crises going on, many socio-economic disruptions, and at the same time, the demand on forests is probably higher than ever before. We want forests to be our carbon sinks. They play a major role in biodiversity and many other things like water cycles, soils, and at the same time, many people and economies and industries rely on forests for resources from the forest. So the question that we need to ask ourselves is how can we balance these different functions and these different ecosystem services that forests provide with each other and align different interests with each other, and how can we adapt to the changes that are happening in our forests, because our forests are changing inevitably due to climate change. If we do something about it or not, they will change. So we have to find ways that work for us. So today we want to talk about science-business collaboration, and for finding solutions to these challenges, that is kind of the point where the science comes in, because science can provide the knowledge and the research and the data and the information about forests and about the provision of products from the forest. What we are specifically looking at is wood and wood-based products. And on the other hand, businesses rely on resources from the forest and they play a major role in sustainable development, and they can let us know what are the most pressing challenges for the private sector, what are the needs of the private sector, and then we can address that with science. So if we collaborate, we can really enable informed and evidence-based decision-making in the forest sector. And now I kind of want to step out of this little zone back here. And well, I thought we have some SDGs lying around here, so I'm just going to put the ones on the table that I think are the core ones that we are tackling when we collaborate between science and business. We have climate action, we have life on land, we have responsible consumption and production, and we have decent work and economic growth. And I'm going to put on top of that partnerships, because I think we need partnerships to align these interests and to tackle these goals together. So what we did in the partnership that we have been building up for the last 3 years, it is Teaming Up for Forests. It tries to address key challenges for the sustainable provision of wood and wood-based products to meet societal demands and to tackle the sustainable development goals and support them and help to achieve them. And we have identified in the beginning of this partnership a couple of shared goals. So one shared goal is to translate science into practice. The second one, we want to exchange knowledge and we want to learn mutually, and we want to share outcomes with stakeholders. So we want to move out of that zone of just science and business and share that with the broader public, share that with other stakeholders and see what are the different views and perspectives and how can we find solutions together. So to work together And I think that's the only way forward, to be honest, if we don't work in secluded bubbles, but we really try to collaborate and achieve something together. So I want to share a little bit how we do that, how we did that, what worked for us, what our achievements were in the past 3 years. So this partnership started out in 2021. It was initiated by Mondi, a global paper and packaging company, and CIFOR, the International Union of Forest Research Organizations. It's a global network of forest science cooperation. So we unite more than 600 different member organizations that all do some kind of research on forests with each other, and we have around, I think, 15,000 scientists that work through the network. So it's kind of the perfect start to mobilize the expertise, to mobilize the science, and to collaborate with industries to address the challenges that we have. And we do that through 2 different work streams. So the one is to engage and build bridges. So we facilitate discussions, we facilitate meetings, we do workshops, very intense, very in-depth workshops. So we really go in there, what are the challenges, and yeah, I can get quite a discussion. And the second one is that building on that, we make science that is relevant for practice. So we are trying to do research, to do concepts for studies that we can implement, to then produce knowledge products. And usually we start out with a think tank meeting. So that is really going to the core of science and business. So that is really in the focus of this kind of think tank meetings. And then we move on to a broader stakeholder dialogue. So we involve stakeholders from management, from policy, from many other areas to, based on that first discussions, talk with us about these topics. And what we did in the past year, based on all the meetings that we previously had, we developed the concept for a study, and we did a study on Europe's wood supply in disruptive times. We produced a full report out of that. I have that here with me. I don't think it's going to be visible in the live stream, but the audience that is in person here, you can feel free to check that out later. And we also produced a business brief out of that and a fact sheet. So kind of to wrap up the messages in shorter documents that then can be digested by the target audience that we have. And with these knowledge products, we now engage in further discussions. We made a webinar series on Europe's wood supply in disruptive times, where we looked at different factors that impact wood supply. Here in specific in Europe, we are focusing here on a regional, on a certain region, but of course, globally, there can be so many more things done, definitely. And yeah, we hold webinars, we hold workshops, we engage through online networking. And all of that worked really, really well the last 3 years. And I think it was so enriching for everyone, because a lot of people that participate in our meetings told me, I heard perspectives that I never heard before in my life, because we always hear in the area, in the field that we are working in, but to move out of that, even for me as a manager, it was a major step to move out of the comfort zone of the science fair, let's say, and then to take that step and to really hear what are other perspectives, how can we kind of align that with each other, and that's what we are trying to do. And in the study, we tackle different factors. So we look at wood supply in a holistic way. We are trying to look at environmental factors, so climate change and forest management, but we are also looking at policies that are related to forests. We are looking at innovation, what new technologies, new forest-based products are out there, and we are looking at socioeconomic aspects like forest ownership, demographic developments, because all of that is important. But I think I want to stop here. There are a lot of measures for practice in the study based on the science, based on that we have, but I don't think I will have time to go into detail with that today. But now I hope we can get my colleague Maya on the screen. That would be perfect. I can already see her name. Yes, hello Maya. So nice that you're joining us here virtually.
Hello, Carola. Nice to see you.
I just need to put up my headphones so I can hear you better. Yes, so Maya, please feel free to go ahead and share kind of what you think, what your vision is for this partnership to move forward. You've been now co-managing this with me for a while. So I think we have quite a clear vision for the future. I was talking a bit more about what we have done in the past. But yeah, maybe you can elaborate a bit more on the future.
Indeed, Carola. Thank you so much for making such a great introduction and making a ground for the next part of our presentation. Greetings to all of you. My name is Maja Radosavljević, and I'm really happy to join you even on this online way. And I would like to make a little more focus on a critical importance of collaboration between science and industry in achieving sustainable forest management. I believe that all of you will agree that the path to sustainable forest management is really complex and been often fraught with the challenges. And that is where we think that our collaboration, Teaming Up for Forests, is really important and essential. And based on our experience in the past years and what we made in this Teaming Up for Forest partnership, I would like to share challenges that we faced in integrating scientific insights into practical, real-world applications and share our vision for fostering meaningful partnership through the Teaming Up for Forests. So I believe that we all here as individuals and representing the organizations and the institutions that we are coming from, that we can bridge the gap between knowledge and action, ensuring that our forests thrive for generations to come. First of all, I would like to make a point to the complex relationship between science and industry. While we will agree that scientific research provides crucial knowledge for sustainable practices, implementing scientific insights and scientific knowledge can be quite challenging in the real life. So this is not just a relationship between science and industry. It is, for some way, the relationship between knowledge and action. So we are aware now, based on our knowledge and experience in the Teaming Up for Forests, that industries are often face significant barriers in implementing scientific knowledge. And one of them are related to the resource limitation, in the sense they have financial constraints, or do not have insufficient technological support, and this limitation can somehow hide their ability to adapt new practices based on scientific research. But also there is a logistical challenges and regulatory frameworks that we are also aware, and that also can restrict how businesses can implement new strategies. And this means that even with a good research, turning into action can be very difficult. So there is also the point that we understand that each industry and region have unique challenges and requirements, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution of some scientific recommendation, often fails to address specific in the sense of the local context. That is what we think that is really important in understanding this knowledge-action collaboration. But it is not just that. It is also bidirectional communication and effective communication between scientific community and industry. And I believe that is not something that we're talking so much about it, but we are aware of it. And we really need this ongoing dialogue to ensure that alignment with industry needs and scientific research should not be conducted in a vacuum. It must align with practical needs of industry to ensure that the insight generated are relevant and applicable. And also the industry challenges needs to inform scientific community that is also vital for industry to communicate their challenges to the scientists, because on that way, this kind of collaboration can lead to more targeted research efforts that provide the solution needed on the ground. So this is the main two challenges, paths that we somehow recognized in our cooperation, providing scientific knowledge and scientific support to the industry. And we really believe that by fostering this bidirectional communication, we can bridge the gap between theory and practice, improving the effectiveness of our collective efforts in sustainable forest management. I would like also to address the future vision for the Teaming Up for Forest partnership. This partnership started in the 2021 as collaboration between EUFRO and Amondi Group based in Austria. And we are really doing all together to make this collaboration working hard. Mondi is a global paper computing company, and we are actively working with them, and the EUFRO team conducted in the Teaming Up for Forest initiative. We are doing all together in the sense how to make the next plan of the partnership phase. So one of our key goals in the next phase is to broaden our partnership to include a diverse range of stakeholders. We believe that we need to hear different voices, from scientists to industry leaders, but also policymakers, and that is the only way that we can foster more comprehensive and effective collaboration. With the inclusion of different perspectives, we will improve the understanding of challenges and opportunities in sustainable forest management. What we plan in the next phase is to focus on the topics that we recognized in our work that are really important in the relation science-business. And the urgency for addressing climate change has never been clearer, and we are all aware of that. But somehow our forest stands at the forefront of this challenge. And today I would like to highlight also how science and business can collaborate to improve forest management, ensuring also that these vital ecosystems can thrive in a changing climate. First of all, our topics are related to the adaptation of forest management practice to meet the realities of climate change. This means implementing adaptive management strategies that account for shifting climate conditions. By investing in scientific research, we can identify tree species that are resilient to these changes, and we can promote their planting, ensuring that our forests remain productive and sustainable. But there is also a biodiversity topic, and we also understand that managed forests can play a crucial role in the conservation. Sustainable practices can help maintain habitats for diverse species while meeting the demand for forest products. Collaboration between conservationists and industry is essential to develop strategies that protect ecological integrity and also promote biodiversity. Looking ahead, we face a growing demand for sustainable wood products, and this calls for a responsible approach to sourcing and supply chains. By engaging with local communities and utilizing technology, we can improve transparency and sustainability in supply chains and securing a reliable future supply of wood. But there is also a carbon sequestration topic that science can really provide a huge resource of knowledge. And we know that forests are significant carbon sinks, but we need to deepen our understanding of this process. Investment in research to quantify carbon sequestration across different forest management practices are vital, and this knowledge can guide us in optimizing carbon storage while maintaining healthy forests. One of the ongoing topics that is really active is debate between forest conservation and active management, and we understand from the scientific point of view that both strategies have their place, and it is not easy to find a balanced approach. So active management can improve resilience against climate impacts, while conservation efforts protect critical ecosystem. Some kind of the local context that needs to be considered is also really important. And as we strive for resilience, we must focus on forest-based value chains that can adapt to a change. And this requires cross-sector partnerships to ensure that our supply chains are robust against climate impacts and market fluctuation. So in the conclusion, the challenges of climate change are really significant, but there are also opportunities for collaboration between science and business. And by adapting practices and conserving biodiversity, securing sustainable wood supply, we really believe that we can improve in creation of sustainable future. That kind of topics we would probably be focused in the next years, in the next partnership phase, together recognizing with the industry partners and future partners what the topics need to be addressed and how really science can help to the industries and to the business in real application of scientific knowledge. I also would like to share and draw your attention to an important upcoming event based in our Teaming Up for Forest initiative. It is a think tank meeting scheduled for the April 2025. It is invitation-only event, and we probably will focus on biodiversity conservation and wood production as a topic. And we will bring together influential business leaders, scientists, and policymakers to tackle the critical challenges in forest management. And by joining us, you definitely can contribute to shaping a sustainable future for our forests by positioning your organization as a leader in sustainable practices. And I encourage you to consider how your expertise can improve this important dialogue. And please feel free to ask additional questions, or also to make a contact or a short chat with my colleague Carola and Alexander Bach, who is also representative there. So in the conclusion from my side, I believe that there are significant challenges in implementing sustainable practices within the forest sector, but there is also a strong vision for the future through the partnerships like Teaming Up for Forest. By fostering a culture of collaboration, but also open communication, I believe that we can ensure that scientific research not only informs industry practices, but also address the real-world challenges faced by industry and businesses. So some of kind of message on my end is to encourage you that you think about your role in this partnership. How can we work together to bridge the gap between science and industry? And we look forward to your thoughts and questions. And we are very, let's say, excited about the potential collaboration as we move forward. Thank you all. Thank you, Carol. I think that is all from my side.
Thank you so much, Maya. You will stay with us on the screen, which is great. This is working well, the setup here. So I think I would now open the floor for questions. So I have a couple of microphones here that I can bring to you. So let me know. Yes.
Hi, Jane Maloney from South Africa. I have a question. It's fantastic to hear about teaming up for forests, but I'd like you to give me a tangible, on-the-ground example of the benefit. Practical example.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. So what we are doing is we are mainly operating through dialogues. So we are having these meetings and these discussions, and from that we have specific outcomes. So for example, one of them is the study that we produced. And so we are very focused on creating knowledge products that can then be implemented. They are on I would say a little bit more broader level, because the local implementation is always like, yeah, it's different for every context. So we cannot pinpoint really the local level. Then we would have to zoom in even more from that what we already have done in here with zooming on the European level. But I think that's maybe then a next step for others to do so. But we are proposing concrete measures that you can do. That is from our side a recommendation, because as a scientific organization, CIFOR can always only provide recommendations. We cannot say this is how things are done or how things should be done, but we can say this is what the science says and what might make sense in practice. So if we, for example, look at the wood-based industry, that would mean maybe I can give one very concrete example. The species that we have currently in the forests are changing. So we will not have the same species that we have now. and we will need adaptive management to shift from the current forests that we have to more mixed, more structurally diverse forests. And the industry that is using wood as resources will also need to adapt to that. So also they would need to move away. In Europe, that would be moving away from softwoods, for example, to include more tree species to create products that don't rely so much on one specific tree species or specific characters that would a certain tree species brings to the table, let's say. And it would also make sense to invest more in adding value to wood products. So these are, for example, some kind of recommendations that we give also in the study. And as I said, I think the really at local level implementation, that would then be a next step by others to be done. But we are trying to also do that outreach to inform people so that can be done, basically. Yeah, thanks for the question.
Thank you, Carola. Maybe I can add one thought, and that is that the industry also thinks to the new initiatives that we have, also improving their outreach to policymakers. But I think one area where there's scope for improvement is to underpin the work that you are doing with the scientific, evidence. And that is, I think, that the niche that I'm making the same mistake again. that is also one specific contribution that Teaming Up for Forests can make, in that it really provides the scientific evidence drawn from that global network of CIFOR plus other scientists from other disciplines to underpin, not in a normative way, because the scientists will also tell you where you're wrong as a business community, but still, it will make the arguments more robust in underpinning it with the really solid scientific evidence. So that is a very concrete, I think, advantage of that partnership.
And how do you get an invitation to the invitation-only event in April?
Please come talk to me after the meeting, definitely. And it's per invitation, because we really want to bring the right people on board that can discuss in detail the questions. But it's not that we are super, super exclusive in that sense. Yeah, so we are very interested in hearing all your perspectives. So if you're interested in joining that, please come up to me afterwards. And we always have quite a broad set of stakeholders, and every time we have new companies joining and new policymakers joining, and I think that's also good that we have people that have been there from the first meeting onwards, but we also always see new faces, and I think that's really great, because each time a new perspective comes in and we can discuss more. So are there any more questions? Yes.
Thank you both. Really wonderful presentations, very compelling. So just help us understand a little bit more, if you can, about the process of choosing what you study. You've talked about a bit of a collaborative process, but how does an idea, do you seek ideas and then go through them and decide which one is going to go forward? Can industry bring an idea and say, we really want to get an answer to this? We've got competing bioeconomy metrics, or we've got competing greenhouse gas protocols. We'd love an analysis of it. Is that the sort of thing you can work on?
Yeah, that's actually exactly what we are trying to do. How we did it for this study that we have done now was a very long process. Of course, maybe in the future now we've learned so much that can also go faster. But what we did in this specific case is we first held a think tank meeting that was very broadly on the topic of science and business. Well, what the businesses need basically in the forest sector, what are the challenges given all these crises that we are having. And so we started out with this broad discussion. And then we had a couple of outcomes from that. And for example, one of that was, okay, we don't know how is the wood supply in the future. That's something we really need to know. There's all these different policies on so many different levels, but it's so complicated. How can science help us bring that down? And then we thought okay, so wood supply and the factors that impact that are apparently really one of the key challenges that the industry, one of the key knowledge gaps that we could fill with science. And Then we had broader discussions with stakeholders, and we did another think tank meeting, very focused on these specific outcomes that we had. And that is how we came up with the concept for the study in the end. And we are always discussing topics that could be of relevance in a small group first, so with funding partners, and then in the next step we are taking that to discussions. But yeah, it's a process of finding out what are the key needs, what are the most urgent challenges, and we want to address the needs by businesses, because that should be the first step, and the science comes then. Maya, do you want to add anything to that?
Thanks, Carola. Thanks, first of all, for the questions from the audience. I found them really important in the both cases. Regarding the practical knowledge, I believe that you already provided enough information, but also just we can share that in the first part of food supply study, when it was done, exactly these practical implications was the reason why we made a business fact and why we made a business review for the industry, so they can use just the conclusions from the scientific study in the decision-making process and to be equipped by the information. And regarding this point, how we are choosing the topics, I think that you provided a very relevant answer, and that is also connected with the challenges that we shared in our presentation. That is really important that industry informs science what is facing from the challenges and what kind of scientific knowledge and information and findings they need. That doesn't mean that they will like the results, but that means that we will open a together discussion, and that is only the way that we can make this collaboration work.
Thanks so much, Maya. Are there any other questions from the audience? Okay, seems not. So I would like to thank everyone for joining our session. We have one last slide that we can bring up, I think. Yes, so you can scan the QR code and come directly to our website here, or follow the links to teamingupforforest.com. We also have a LinkedIn group that is kind of our way of keeping the network engaged online, so also outside of the regular activities that we do. We can share information. Everyone can share information through that LinkedIn group. And here are our contact details, and we're very happy to get in touch with you for our next activities, for engaging in this partnership. As Maya mentioned, we are really eager to expand that partnership, to get more partners on board. So I'm very excited to see what will happen in the next few years. And Maya, thank you so much for joining us virtually. I'm very happy that worked well, and greetings to you back in Vienna. And I thank the audience here in person that joined us at the Forest Pavilion. I hope you are having a great remaining COP29, and thanks also to all the people that joined through the live stream. Thank you.